Friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Drift Mayhem 2009. Shit, that's not what year it is. Welcome to Freestyle Friday, Cinematic Friday, faffing about Friday, you fart bag bastards. That was some flight footage from last night at Torque Motorsports. Altitude Raceway puts on this awesome little drift track, and my new absolute favorite thing in the entire world is chasing around these little RC drift cars. It's incredibly difficult. I want to say that it's more difficult than doing it for real, because to get like the really good shots, you have to be like half an inch off the ground. And that's really difficult. And tiny whoops don't fly as good as 5-inch rigs. So, yeah, I think I can kind of confidently say that getting that really low, you know, like just chasing them around the room is easy. Just like just chasing drift cars around a drift layout is easy. But getting like really good, really high quality shots I think is more difficult, and that's just intoxicating. Anything that's difficult, I get obsessed with. In the chat, Richard Vaughn was first, Punani was next, Riot9, Northern Tier, Titan, WJH, Sky Sailor, Titan again, Frank Nicholas, Juicy FPV, Freelojo, Rock Crawler, Eric Moe, Saucy Jack, Flush FPV, TK again, YouTube just did the thing, McMucus, all right, YouTube keeps doing the thing. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up an orange. You don't have to put an @ in front of it, but you can if that's what makes your pickle get tickled. Titan says, my X12 AIO Frsky VTX has gone to shit, and I don't know why. I haven't really changed anything nor crashed it hard recently. I tried different antennas and can't see anything obvious on the board. Yeah, Titan, my first X12, which was an Express LRX X12, but I think that's the same thing that failed on mine. I think the VTX failed on my original X12 as well. The current X12 that I've got, which is this it? Yeah, this is that oversized bastard. My current X12 is hanging in there. This probably has 20, maybe 30 batteries through it. Probably around 10, a little bit less than 10 of those batteries have been spent bouncing off of jungle gyms, which is about as much stress as you can put this thing in through. So yeah, maybe this one's gonna be okay, but I've heard from a bunch of folks in chat that they've not had great luck with X12s either. So yeah, I will continue to not recommend the X12 as the AIO that you get unless you need 2S. But man, if it can't handle 1S, I don't know what it's going to do with 2S. Although now that it's a lot harder, not impossible, but now that it's a lot harder to get the Newbie Drone BLV3, we don't really have any other options. Like the X12 is the only 2S option. You can technically still get a Newbie Drone BLV3, but you have to buy a bind and fly in order to get it. There's a $120 Mosquito on Newbie Drone's website. It's a little 1.6 inch or maybe 1.2 inch toothpick that comes with the BLV3. $120 is an awful lot of money to spend on that AIO. Of course, you're going to get I believe it's a Goober canopy, definitely a Newbie Drone BI camera with it. You're going to get a set of their low KV 802s. I think they're 20,000 KV. You're going to get the little Mosquito frame, nice little frame. So yeah, you'll get some other stuff, but it's, yeah. We find ourselves in a bit of a pickle when it comes to 2S. I've said pickle twice on this stream now. That just 3 times now. Titan says, I'd like to add that it works, just that the range is garbage. Yeah, it'll, I mean, unless you did something, right? Unless like you messed up the VTX table or something like that, it's not going to last for much longer. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse. Like, this sounds like the sign of your VTX shitting the bed. So yeah, if you didn't, but like I said, if you didn't change anything, then yeah, it's just a physical issue. If you were in there screwing around with the VTX table and that's when the range issues started, then there's your problem. But yeah, like if you haven't been in there messing around with stuff, or if you crashed into a tree really hard and that's when the problem started, it's a mechanical thing. This is my full-time job, believe it or not. Hopefully I'm good at it. If you'd like to support me and see this kind of content continue, head on over to CiottiFPV.com. Patreon helps me out the absolute most, and you get the biggest benefit. We've had one new patron pretty much every single live stream lately. So who's it going to be tonight? God damn it. Somebody join the Patreon or I'll starve to death and die, and you don't want that on your conscience, do you? Over on Etsy, I've got some really fun stickers and some fairly specific hardware that could get you unstuck from builds. I've got a whole bunch of M2 screws on there. If you're going to be doing micro builds and you do not have like a full set of M2 screws, you're going to lose your mind. It's really annoying. I've got a whole bunch of M2 hardware over there. Get a little stash going and you'll love your life. Over on Fiverr, you can work directly with me one-on-one. I can help you fly better, build better, tune better. I worked with somebody last week who was super new, and I worked with him again today. And we've been basically working on flight instruction, and it's just the most satisfying thing ever to see somebody after 1 week. And I mean, he's been hitting hard and practicing quite a bit. But even without that, like, it's just super rewarding to see somebody getting better. And you know, he said to me today, he's like, he said he went to quad camp like a year ago and was expecting to kind of come out of there like knowing what he was doing with a working quad. And his stuff's been basically sitting on the shelf for about a year. And he's like, you know, working with you last week and now this week, like, I learned so much more. And I'm actually like able to get up in the air and fly now. So that's super cool. I would love to help you guys out with that. To be really honest, like the super, super, super beginner level stuff, Remy Tim tends to be a little bit better at, fpvmentor.com. I can still certainly do it, but Daniel has been kind of specializing in that stuff. I'm more here for most of you guys. I'm more like FPV 102. I'm better at, let's say that, sort of like the FPV 102 kind of stuff, where like you're already up in the air and you're looking to get refined and get better. This has been nice working with him and kind of figuring out that I can do hard things and that I can help people get started. Because I haven't done that in a while. Like, I haven't helped somebody get started from scratch. And he's not at scratch, but I haven't gone, you know, that far down the learning journey in a while. So yeah, if you're absolutely brand new, or if you're just looking to get better, or if you're looking to plan a build that works specifically for you and it's not just the hype train parts that might not have anything to do with the way that you fly or crash or whatever, I would love to help you out with that. So yeah, let me work with you one-on-one. I've been in the game for a little over 6 years. Take advantage of that amount of time that I've poured into this, and in like a half an hour, you can move yourself forward in the FPV game by like 6 months or a year, just by getting all of the questions answered that you've got and having me kind of guide you through how to build the right rig for your specific use, or get you tuned, get your rigs tuned up and show you how to tune it for the future, or just work together in the simulator so that you've got some drills that you can work on to get better, and yeah, just sort of knowledge from somebody that's taken the unbelievable amount of time to figure that shit all out the hard way. Over on Teespring, there's some really fun shirts and random apparel. PayPal, if you want to do a super chat and support the insanity, but you don't want YouTube and Google to take 30%. And then I got a whole bunch of affiliate links. If you're ordering things on the internet, somebody probably has an affiliate link to the website that you're about to order from, and you can help them keep creating content for you to watch for free on YouTube by using their affiliate link. The other thing you can do, if you have trouble remembering to hit someone's affiliate link, is just move all your bookmarks over to affiliate links. You know, right-click these and do copy link address, and then change your Weebleed bookmark to my affiliate link. Weebleed, Newbie Drone, FPV Cycle, Amazon, Get FPV, Oh My God, HD0, Flywoo, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Butter, AliExpress, and FPV Exchange. I don't have the, it doesn't, how did FPV Exchange get pushed to the bottom, by the way? Oh, right, FPV Cycle. I'm getting FPV Exchange confused with FPV Cycle, because my brain is dead. I'm dead, brain dead, bread. The other thing you can do, if you don't use bookmarks, if you just like come up here and type AMA for Amazon, you can click the little X over here to remove your regular old Amazon.com suggestion, and then click on my affiliate link a couple times, and your browser will think that my affiliate link is the main link that you want to go to when you go to Amazon. So you can kind of go through and do that. Type in FP, and if it suggests FPV cycle, exit out and hit my affiliate link a couple times. You know, type get and delete the getfpv.com suggestion and replace it with my affiliate link. That's another way to kind of help out. The affiliate stuff is free money, so it's a big deal. It doesn't cost you anything, and it allows me to keep doing what I'm doing. So yeah, help a brother out. So tonight we are going to be taking a look at a whole bunch of flight footage from yesterday, chasing some RC drift cars, and we're also going to be looking at a camera comparison. I put 5 different cameras on all 5 of the rigs that I flew at the place yesterday, because the analog footage, I'm gonna be, and I actually started already. I started on an analog edit already. The analog tiny whoops are so much better chasing these little drift cars. It's just kind of crazy. I mean, it makes sense. We're trying to get like right on the ground, and we're trying to be as agile as they are. So it makes total sense, actually. But yeah, I want to try to find the best possible analog setup for chasing these guys. And a part of that is going to be trying to find an analog camera that actually looks decent. I mean, they all look decent, but this is a fairly specific kind of scenario, right? Like, some of these cars have bright ass LEDs. The place, it's kind of dark in the corner that we're at. I can't really turn them. I can't really. I mean, I certainly could, but I'm not going to ask them to turn on the overhead lights, because they'll turn on the whole building's worth of overhead. I'm just not going to do it. They're, you know, we're not paying to be there or anything like that. So, I was hesitant to ask them if I could open the blinds yesterday. So yeah, it's a fairly specific sort of lighting situation that we're in, and I want to try to find the camera that fits that best. There's also things like field of view that become important. So yeah, at one point last night, I flew each one of these guys back to back to back to back to back. And so we're going to take a look at that footage. So we're going to be comparing the Foxeer Razor Pico Nano camera with the current generation of Runcam 3 Nano, with the Runcam 3 Nano with the OG lens on it, the round lens, versus the Caddx Light versus the Newbie Drone BI. And they all look pretty good, but maybe we can sort of pick a winner. I would love that. I would love it if one of these cameras looked significantly better than the others in this sort of scenario. One thing I did realize that I did not know, that I'm a little bit confused by, is so the Immersion RC Power Play is the best way to record DVR. It records it in 60 frames a second with the good DVR chip, so it actually like looks decent. This records in 60 frames a second. I assumed that these cameras did not output 60 frames a second, because the NTSC cameras say 30 frames, and then the PAL cameras say 25 frames, or 24, I forget which it is. But apparently that's not true. Apparently, at least the Newbie Drone BI, at least, is outputting to this 60 frames a second, which is really cool, and completely unexpected. So yeah, this is the Fractal 65 rig that we built the other night, Wednesday night, so that I could get the camera down nice and low, and we're going to look at footage in a little bit. This is amazing. Having the camera really low is a really big deal, and no ducts in view. Like, it's really cool. I wish I didn't have this antenna. I think that this might be my broken small antenna. So yeah, I would like to Where'd it go? I would like to investigate that a little bit. Because I was getting breakup. I was standing like 10 feet away and I was still getting a little bit of breakup. So I need to figure that out. But other than that, yeah, I'm super impressed by this little thing. I did not have any of the issues with it falling out of the air like it was here when I was flying it kind of freestyle. So that was pretty cool. It definitely does feel a little heavy, because it is. And I am going to try switching this over to a lower KV motor. On this at the moment are Tiny Whoop 0703 30,000s. I've got one set of these Weebleed FPV Gore discontinued 28,500 KV motors. And I'm hoping that with the slightly lower KV, they'll give me, I mean, I'm not hoping, it will give me a little bit better throttle resolution. What I'm not so sure about is that that's really what I want. I might actually like Blizzard FPV with a super chat. Thank you, brother. I'll read it in 1 second. Yeah, I might actually not like the lower KV. So this rig is kind of heavy as it is, and there's some extra obstructions on the bottom from the carbon fiber frame. So it already feels a little bit underpowered from in a freestyle standpoint, but this drift car chasing stuff is not necessarily freestyle, although I am trying to go with the more, like, I would love to emulate Gaver's style, which is like full tilt freestyle, and they're just like around drift cars. Some of you are probably not familiar with Gaver, so let me really quickly show you what I mean. I think it's Gaver, right? Yeah, Gaver. I'm only going to show you like a second of this, so I don't get copyright dinged. But yeah, this is Gaver. There's just nothing like that. This is a whole other thing. And yeah, it's just next level. It's a bit much. Like I would back this off a little bit for me, but just this style and this, like, yeah, I want more of this. Doing this around the little RC drift cars, I think, is going to be impossible, but I at least want to, you know, like, I'm kind of over here right now, super smooth, super cinematic, almost like it's on a gimbal. Gaver is all the way over here, like probably over out in the yard, like 50 feet past the next neighborhood over. I would love to kind of come somewhere into here and be able to incorporate some of that stuff. If you want to look for his stuff, it's just GAVR. Just YouTube search Gaver FPV, GAVR FPV. It's really something else. It borders on like making my eyes bleed from like how unbelievably like fast paced and chaotic it is. But Jesus, I mean, like, talent beyond the bounds of rational thought. And yeah, super impressive. It's he's basically like the Spang of just chasing. Let's just say chasing. And you know, I don't like Spang for the exact same reasons. It just makes my eyes hurt. But I'm old and grumpy and ugly, so what do you expect? And yeah, of course, we're going to take a look at 120 frame per second footage tonight from the Insta360 Go 2, which is just outrageous that there is a 26 gram camera that can get 126 frame per second footage. I guess it's not insane. It's just insane for us old people. But yeah, so that's the plan for tonight. Hopefully we'll get another patron here tonight and keep the streak going. Speaking of the streak, on Wednesday, our patron of the day was Sayword. Welcome to the Gangly Gang, Sayword. Thank you so much for your support. And let me just real quick scroll. Okay, yeah, I'm caught up. All right, good to go. Amazon Marketplace. What? Why did you... What? Amazon, why did you take $13 from me? What are you doing? Why? Why, Amazon? Hold on. What? Amazon Marketplace? What's Amazon Marketplace? Marketplace? Why does it say Marketplace? Amazon Marketplace. $13.67. Oh. Oh, it's the order that I placed last night. Got it. That's weird. Why did they charge me now for that? That's strange. Hey, guys, what time it is? I ruthlessly stole that little thingy from Mighty Car Mods. Go check them out. It's short enough where I don't think I get dinged on it because they haven't sued me yet and I've been using it for a year. Speaking of Amazon, I think that this is the order that they just charged me for there. Maybe not. I think this is just boring stuff. Okay, this is not mine. Oh my god. My parents are just the best. I wondered why the shipping address said Aaron and Maggie. With a little note. Happy Easter, everyone! With love from Mom. Amazing. I am a fortunate MFer to live with such amazing people and to have such an amazing mother and father. Yeah, man. Hug your mom and dad today for me. Mine are a little too far away. But I get to see them, I think it's next week, which is going to be amazing. Oh, God, it better not be when I'm in Miami. I don't think it is. Better not be. Oh, God, I really hope it's not. Hey, no, let's open this. I remember things at random times. I'm going to put this right in front of my desk so I don't forget. This is a box from the newest, the beest, the dronist. The newest of bee drones. The newest bee dronist. Rockcrawler says, hey everyone, Punani says, looks like your EOS software worked today. It did. Unbelievably, I clicked stop stream on Wednesday and nothing inside the computer puked all over itself for no reason. So, just give it another couple days though, I'm sure it'll shit its pants again. Look at this, yo. HQ now has a 3.5... Oh, wait, no, they've had this. GemFan actually has one of these now, and it's got the good hub on it. I have 3 of these. I bent one of them all up. So I have 3 of these HQ 3.5 by 2.5 by 3s. And I just wanted to get a couple extra bags so that I didn't just have 3 of them. And because I kind of want to compare them to the GemFan 3 by 2.5 by 3s. The GemFans have the hub that works with both T-mount and M5, which realistically means that it's the only 3.5 by 2.5 that you should buy. Like, why the hell would you buy one that's T-mount only when you can get one that's probably balanced a little bit better from GemFan? Maybe not, but probably. Which allows you to run it on both M5 or T-mount. So that's, yeah, so there's that. This is a secret thing that I can't show you, but that looks really cool. Let me put that over there. Oh yeah, there's definitely a difference. Very cool. Kelvin and I have been talking about some things, and he sent me some secret stuff. You guys will find out about it at some point. Here is... Oh, okay, and then that's the third one. That one's cool looking. Okay. Ooh! Look at these. Look at these, yo. Would you just look at them? Hold on. Hold on, I'm pulling a staple out of here. Just hold on. Just hold on, just wait. Would you just wait? Just wait. God. I'm impatient. Look at this. Look. Can you see it? Ooh, now you can see it. Look at that, yo. The little landing pads are for sale on Newbie Drone. Make sure you buy a bunch of them because they do rip off. When you crash, when you carry some momentum and you hit like that, the carpet will eventually peel them off. So you'll find them all over your house. So get some extras. But yeah, man, they sell them now. Isn't that exciting? Just me? Well, all right. That's fine. Yeah, I'm hoping that these will make landing on the ceiling fan in the living room a possibility. But I mean, even if it doesn't, they're just cool, and they make your rig not slap against stuff and potentially like scratch stuff, which is a good thing. So yeah, get you some. They come in, when you order a quantity of 1, you get 20. So that's 3 quads worth. Or it's 5 quads worth if, you know how to do math. Which obviously I don't. They're meant for the cockroach frame, but they will work on other frames. I got 1. How many do I have here? 1 squad, 2, 3. Okay, let me leave 2 of these out. I snagged a set of ASSI tri-blades in smoke crotch gray with the 1.5mm motor shaft. I want to test these on the tiny lifter compared to the Gemfan bi-blades. Just to see if, I don't know, they're a little bit better. As always. That's how testing works. What else we got going on here? Of course, our little pouch with a candy and our receipt, as always. So I've got little. I love short little stubby wrenches like this for removing your props, and like I bought one a long time ago from Amazon. That's good, made by Tecton. But this one, I just noticed it on there, on Newbie Drone's website. This one has Newbie Drone etched into it. Just pretend like you can see it. You can kind of see it. Yeah, it says Newbie Drone on it. So that's pretty amazing. I'll just put that over there. And I got an extra. I got 2 of them. Tried to get 2 of them. Where'd the other one go? The other one escaped. Here it is. Yeah, one of these is for. Oops. One of these is for giveaways. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? I also got a whole bunch of. They had in their in their clearance section, they had these Dal 3-inch folding props. So I snagged a bunch of them. I'm also going to be trying these on some of the on 1 or 2 of the rigs that I use for chasing the cyclists at these criterium races, because safety, like, oh, these are M5 nut though, aren't they? I am just a big dumb man. These are M5 nut. I don't have any motors that. I don't have any small enough motors. Hell, I think it's the Gemfan made folding propellers that were T-mount, and that's what I was thinking of. I just didn't look at the mounting hole in these, to be honest with you. I could run those on the X-Nova 1804s, but the X-Nova 1804s will make, there's no way to be sub 250. And the rigs that I fly at those cycling races are sub 250, category 1. Just so that we don't have to play the games of like registration and flying over people and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a little annoying, but whatever. They were on clearance. They were super cheap. Ooh, look at this. So I got, hey, how do I get, what's the cheapest, easiest way for me to get, Blizzard FPV with a 220 Canadian super challenge pound dollar chat super cash. He says, I want to send you a card. Can you guess what card? A birthday card, because my birthday's coming up in April. That's my guess. I should start a woke snail fund. I've been thinking about that. Hey, how do I need to get analog video into HDMI. What's the cheapest, easiest way to do that? Do any of you guys have a screen with HDMI out that you haven't used in 2 years that you want me to use? They have TVs up on the wall with HDMI in. And so last night they asked me if I had a way of getting the analog video into HDMI, and I do not. And I would rather not buy there are analog screens, little monitors that have HDMI out, but they're 60, 70, 80, 90, $100, and that's just silly. So who knows of a cheaper way of doing it? Or does anybody have a way of doing that has, 6 inches thick of dust on it, that would like to see it get used? And when I'm done with it, I'll send it back to you. Unless you don't want me to. This is a battery that I got kind of for my little analog screen, because I have this tiny, stupid little battery that doesn't last the entire time that I'm there. But also, so the little screen uses the balance lead to power it, but this is also a DJI goggle battery, and it's 2000 mAh. It's a 2000 mAh 3S. So yeah, that's why I got this, and it was cheap, man. The low C rating goggle batteries are always really inexpensive. It's awesome. So yeah, I snagged one of these, which is great. It'll be nice to have a 2000 mAh 3S DJI battery. This is now the highest milliamp total milliamp hour DJI goggle battery that I've got. Look at this big old sheet of GNB batteries. Those are called stickers. Somebody just sent me Kvist sent me something. HDMI to RCA cable. Oh. And that I could plug into my goggles? I wish I could do it with the little ROTG ones. If we put a laptop there, I could do it with this little guy. Or if somebody had like an Android phone, but then the Android phone would have to have HDMI out. But yeah, I don't think I want to do it as an output from the goggles, because then I would have to stand over by the TVs, and that would just kind of be silly. But that would be that would be the cheapest way of doing it. HD0 goggles have HDMI out, Greg Gerber says. That's an interesting idea. That would be an expensive little setup. So yeah, talk amongst yourselves, chat, and see if you guys can come up with a a consensus on the absolute cheapest and slickest way of doing it. The TVs are on the back wall, and then we usually stand all the way across the racetrack from that. Kelvin hooked me up with cost on a shitload of these 3mm threaded spacers. If you missed it, sorry, I had to fart. If you missed it, these 3mm spacers will allow you to crank your top 4 on 5-inch freestyle rigs that have TPU GoPro holders on the front. These 3mm nuts are the exact same thickness as the TPU at the base here. And so what you can do is put these little threaded bastards inside the TPU so that you can then crank down all 4 of the front nuts on your 5-inch freestyle rigs. Quad Mula they had a specific piece of hardware made to do that, where it's like thin and then it's thick on top and then you put your screw through it. And that's what made me think about it. And yeah, we can just do it with these little spacers. And in my opinion, doing it with the spacers is better because these can be double duty. If you ever need more or less up tilt on your GoPro, you can use these little spacers to boost up the TPU on the front or the rear. You would need to put the spacer on the underside, but yeah, doing it with a spacer instead of a custom-made expensive thing, in my opinion, makes sense. I've got 100 of these. Kelvin sent me 100 of these, and I'm probably going to get some more. So if you want some of these 3mm spacers, they're a little, you can just get them on Newbie Drone, but they're a little expensive. If you want to support the madness here, we can do stickers along with these in the same way that we've been doing 0.99mm drill bits so that you can drill out your tiny whoop props so that they actually go onto and off of your motors without bending the motor shafts or just generally being obnoxious. Or the McStinky mounts, if you want a McStinky mount, or now if you want 3mm spacers, all you got to do is buy some stickers from me. You can do a single sticker for $10, or you can do a sticker pack for $15, and I will throw in either a drill bit or some spacers or a McStinky mount or 2 or 3. Cool? Fair? God damn right it's fair. Shipping is like $4-point-something, and then, you know, paying for a sticker and some other stuff, and hopefully help, you know, feeling good about helping me continue to do this. Because without me, what would you do on Friday nights from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock and Wednesdays from 6 to 8? I also got, Newbie Drone is the only place that sells the Axis 1404 4510 kV motor. And so I snagged an extra one of those. They are also the only place that sells the 3710 kV Axis 2204. So I just grabbed one each extra of those. I think I already have one extra of each one of those motors, but I really like both of those motors, so I figured I would just grab another spare. And then I got a bunch of fresh GemFan biblades. There is, it has been confirmed that the GemFan biblades are extremely well balanced. I wish I saved the link to it on Facebook. I very specifically meant to save the link, and then I just closed the tab, or not link, but tab. Let me really quickly see if I can find it, because this is rad. Somebody made a prop balancer for tiny whoop props, and it's real cool. Got it. Check this out, yo. Computer, please, please. There it is. Daryl is a genius. Look at this. Look how freely that's spinning. So I think he used his breath and just, you know, gave it a little roll. But like, look, so this is an OG Gemfan tri-blade, which at the time that they came out, they were some of the best balanced tiny whoop props. But nowadays they're not as well balanced as some of the other options. And look at that. That is what an unbalanced prop looks like. It's, you know, the heavy point is down and it's swinging back and forth on the heavy point there. So you can then, my favorite way to then balance is to remove some material. You come in here with a little file and you just file away some material from the heavy spot and then do it again. But yeah, it's super, super, super cool that Daryl made this thing. There are prop balancers that exist, but none of them are small enough for 1mm or even 1.5mm shafts. I don't think any of the ones that are out there are that spin this freely either. So yeah, very, very cool. And Daryl's working on some other stuff that I'm not sure if he really wants to be talking about, but we've been talking back and forth, and it's pretty slick. Really smart guy that's doing some cool stuff. So yeah, there's that. But then also, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. This is a Meteor 65 Pro frame, and the cross style AIO is down in the bottom. I was wondering if I'd be able to do this. Like, so I'm doing this HD0 Modula 6 rebuild, right? And I was wondering if I mounted it this way with the cross AIO in the bottom. I was wondering if the HD0 board would sit up high enough to clear the tops of the ducts. And like 2 days later, I see this picture in my feed. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Looks like Chris Drew has done this. And I don't know if I'm going to do this. I don't love that these wires are kind of pushing into the duct, although it shouldn't really matter. I don't know which rubber grommets these are. You're going to have to run a taller rubber grommet. Although, to be honest, the main reason that I don't think I'm going to do this is that I don't want or need, like, the only point, well, I guess maybe you can get more runtime, but I don't think so. So, you know, this is instead of a 30 or 31mm prop, this is a 35mm prop. Well, my main problem with it is there's no bi-blade option. So, like, yes, you get a bigger propeller, which will make a little bit more thrust, which I don't want, but potentially be a little bit more efficient, which I do want. But then that extra efficiency goes out the window because there are no bi-blade props that are in this 35mm size. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do this. Because it's you know, there's no advantage. If I'm going to have to run a tri-blade, it's going to take the only advantage for me in the build that I'm doing would be the extra efficiency, but that's going to kind of go out the window. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do this, but it's cool that this is a thing. If you wanted to do an HD0 Modula 6 designed for freestyle, this could be a nice option for you because you're going to get more thrust. You know, for a freestyle rig, you do want more thrust. Mine's not a freestyle rig. And you'll potentially get a little bit more efficiency because it's a bigger prop. If you're going to run a tri-blade on a regular 30mm prop, 1.2 inch propped build. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys that. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? So that's everything I got from Jippity Joppity. Hey, you know what I need? I ran out of full-size propeller bags. Does anybody else hoard their full-sized prop bags this size? I got stickers in this one, but you know, this size that you buy 5-inch props. If anybody has been hoarding them and you want to lighten your load a little bit, I use them like everywhere. Ooh, I didn't run all the way out. I've still got a bunch, but I need more. I take the so when GemFan ships me my sponsor box, the propellers are in huge bags. And then, so for you guys with the giveaways, I then take them out of those huge bags and I put them in these smaller bags so then, that I can then, you know, use in the giveaways. And you go through a lot of those little bags when you're doing that. And I also just use those bags absolutely everywhere. Like every single drawer in the entire house, like all over the place in here, I've just used those bags. And yeah, I'm now out. One of you beautiful bastards sent me a whole big stack of them like 6 months ago, and now I've run all the way through those as well. So if anybody has a bunch and they want to get rid of them, shoot me a message. All my contact info is over on CiottiFPV.com. I'll give you my address and send you a sticker pack or something like that as a thank you. So yeah, hook a brother up! Hook a brother up! I don't need these small ones. I have plenty of these little small ones, although they're super handy as well. So yeah, that's what I got going on, yo. Let's hold on. That GNB battery came with a GNB battery strap. I don't think I've ever. I don't think I have one of these. I like weirdly collect battery straps. I put them on the top of my flight bag. And it's fun to have like all different ones. Hey, speaking of stickers, look at that, yo. This is the newest sticker. As always, huge shout out to CMYK-FPV for this awesome design. This is based off of the old Apple logo, the old school Apple computer logo. That's these colors. And I am super happy with it. It came out really, really nice. It's hard to see on camera because, you know, holographic. But let's see if I can get this thing to focus a little bit. Come on, you jackass. Come on, you jerk! You focused 4 minutes ago. There we go. Yeah, yo, look at that. That's a tough representation of the colors, but yeah, it came out really nice. CMYK got he just dialed the colors in perfectly, and then printing. When you print ink on top of the holographic material, the colors have a tendency to shift a little bit. But in this case, they're like kind of dead on the money. So yeah, if you want some of those spacers, or if you want a McStinky mount, or if you want a 0.99mm drill bit, this is one of the stickers that you can buy from me, and I'll throw that other stuff in there. Other options are like the Gangly Gang stickers, matte and holographic. There's this really cool Gulf livery CiottiFPV sticker, and then any of the stickers that you see on the Etsy store are your different options. So yeah, try it out. You might like it. What does that mean? Ooh, it's nice to have some fresh GemFan bi-blades. Good lord. My GemFan bi-blades are all kind of banged up. And when I sold those rigs, I put like all of my cleanest GemFan bi-blades on them. So I was only left with like violated 1.2 inch buys. Northern Tier says, is this the Fractal? If so, it looks good. I think Northern Tier was referring to the footage that I was playing at the intro. No way. That was Insta360 Go 2 footage. The footage that came from the Fractal rig looks like analog footage. So yeah, it's nowhere near as nice. But we'll be looking at it in a little bit here. Let me actually, speaking of, let me get that memory card put into the computer. I think that's the right memory card. Find out in a second. Well, actually, let me do this. I'm gonna speaking of, I'm gonna play the rest of the 120 frame per second video, just for you to kind of check out while I'm reading through chat. So let me move chat over here, and so I'm playing this straight through Insta360 Studio. So any weirdness, it's because of that. It's very dark in here, and 120 frames per second really limits your shutter speed to minimum 120. Ideally, you want to do 1 over 240, but I was actually doing 1 over 120 just to suck up as much light as humanly possible. The other thing that I learned is that before you hit record, you have to choose vertical, 9:16 vertical, or 16:9 horizontal. There are no other options. When you run the Insta360 on like regular video mode or pro video mode, well, let me show you actually. Yeah, so this is regular old pro video mode. When you do this, you can do why is it? It records on its square sensor, and now after the fact, I can change the size of the frame. This is 1:1, then there's 9:16, 16:9, and then 4:5. But this limits you to, well, so this will run at 2.7K, 1440p, which is nice. And this will allow you to get frame rates up to 50 frames a second. This, I think, is 30 frames a second. But well, yeah, and you can, it records the entire sensor. When you put the Insta360 Go 2 or the Caddx Peanut, it would do the same thing. If you put them into their slow motion mode, which is 120 frames a second, it limits you to 1080, and yeah, you have to pick. You have to pick. Do you want? It limits it to 9:16 or 16:9. And you just have to choose before you go up in the air, before you hit record. You have to pick vertical or landscape. And I did not know that. I'm glad that it recorded in vertical, because most of this footage I'm just using on Instagram. But yeah, that's why this is locked into the vertical mode. Because it's so dark in there, it is pretty noisy. Like, there is a substantial amount of noise on here, but I mean, this footage is just going to be going onto iPhones anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter, sorta, maybe a little bit, you know what I mean? So let me fast forward a little bit, and to be honest, like, with how cool this is at 120 frames, it's fine. Like, the fact that this 26 gram camera can do this is absolutely absurd, and like, it's so cool to watch the suspension moving around, and to watch these guys like come on and off the throttle. Like, these are so obviously like big heavy duty brushless motors, because they've just got like a ton of torque. You can see the wheels just stop and then start spinning again, and it's just, I just find it fascinating. Maybe it's extra fascinating to me because I'm just so into cars. But I don't know. This is just, I can't believe how cool this is. I can't believe how nice this looks down in 120 frames. I just have to fly the tiny lifter better. This is really challenging to fly the big fat tiny lifter around such agile subjects that are so close to the ground. It's an incredible challenge. The problem I had last night was that when you put this into slow motion mode, it just chews the battery up. So what I need to do is like get there as early as I can, and then immediately put this thing up in the air and fly a battery, maybe fly another battery, and then get it into the little case to get the battery charging, the Insta360 Go 2 battery charging. Because yeah, it like charged through the entire battery. Maybe I could have sworn that I charged it up beforehand, but there's a chance that I forgot and it was only like half charged. But it gets mighty hot. So I think it's really working the little processor in there hard. But yeah, this is pretty acceptable, man. Like yes, it's noisy, but once things are kind of moving around, it's not that noticeable. And I mean, once I put this into Premiere or whatever, I can do a little bit of smoothing, a little bit of noise reduction. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's really not all that noticeable. One thing that I do wish is that you had a little bit more adjustment in the slow motion mode. I would love to like be able to lock the ISO and not allow the ISO to go all the way up to like 1600 or whatever the hell the max is, because that's when this is getting all noisy. Is when the ISO is going up to an absurd number like 1600 or 3200 or something like that. You do have those options in Pro Video mode, but Pro Video mode maxes out on the frame rate at 50 frames a second. Which I haven't messed with yet, and I am going to mess with. Like, look at that. Like, you can see the rear wheels spinning. How fucking cool is that? Is that not the coolest thing in the world? Like, is it just me? Yeah, this was such an insane moment. I did not know this red car was here. I was all excited because I finally got locked in, and like right around now, I'm like, oh! But luckily, I just had the, yeah, you see my reaction is very late in 120 frames, but that's something that happens in motorsport when you're really close to the car in front of you and someone in front of him spins. You don't see them until sometimes it's too late. The guy in front of you swerves, and then all of a sudden there's a car stopped in front of you, and you just go plummeting into them at 7,000 miles an hour and die. So yeah, don't do that. The hazards of racing the hazards of wheel-to-wheel racing. Look at that! Yeah, look at them spinning! Look at them wheels spinning! Come on! This is the coolest shit ever! I was all alone last night. Patrick had something come up, and Eva is like an hour and a half away, so I'm not surprised that she didn't come out. So yeah, I was all alone, but man, I flew a shitload of batteries. Like, since there was nobody there to talk to, or I mean, I was talking to some of the drivers here, but you know, if it's me and Patrick there, we're gonna be cracking jokes and like hanging out and relaxing. But yeah, last night it was just about putting batteries in, and God, I had an absolute blast. This is, oh my God, this is 17 minutes of video here at slowed down frame rate. I should say at 30 frames a second. So 16, 17, 5, so this is 4. What's 17 divided by 4? Wow, that's pretty good runtime. That means I got over 4 minutes of runtime on this set of Tiny Whoop batteries. That's pretty cool. Come on, man. Come on. Look at that. Look at it. Are you not entertained? Look at it. Ooh, seeing him stop and then start again. Ooh, seeing me overshoot like a jackass. Come on. Seeing the little LED flashes from the tailpipe light thing. Damn, son. Get you some. The only option that you have in this mode is regular flow state. I've got flow state turned off right now. You can turn it on. It will not horizon lock though. It's just basically the FPV mode. And to be honest, like with how good this rig flies, I'm not gonna run it. Like I'm not gonna run the flow state. I'll just leave it raw. This rig doesn't have any real jiggles or joggles, and I fly like very smooth, so it kind of works. Hitting that can at 120 frames a second? Come on now. Come on. Now. Come on. Look at this. Look how cool this is. Oh my God. It is hard to fly. It is hard to chase them with this rig. Good Lord, he just hit me. Yeah, this is hands down the most difficult rig to fly around these guys. But man, the results here are well worth the effort. I haven't even watched this, so I'm like, oh, you can see the fucking gear set in the back of the car. Ah, oh my god, this is so cool. Oh man, this is just amazing. I can't wait to get this onto the phone and do some Instagram reels with this. Yes! That's so fucking great. You can like see the plastic of the Lexan like give when I bump into them. Oh my god, that is so cool to see in high frame rate. My god. The LED car ripping past. Oh man. I'm sorry, but like this is just the coolest thing ever to me. Here comes another one. Oh, yes. Next time I got to do at least one of these in 16:9. All right, let's see if there's anything else amazing. Yeah. Very, very fun. If you want to get into doing this, I got to be honest, you should start flying a lot of tiny whoop batteries. Like this is tough stuff. This is tough flying. Definitely get your throttle expo dialed in. That's going to be really important to being able to do this. I mean, you can go do this and have a blast flying a foot off the surface, and it'll be super cool. But the real juice to fly in this is getting down low like this. Like you just feel like you've got a bigger dick than anyone that's ever been born ever, by dropping down low like this. And it's really worth the effort that it's going to take to get your throttle control like super locked in and just get enough experience doing this. So start putting in 10-15 batteries a night now. Because yeah, this is tough, but fuck, so rewarding. And like everybody watching is like losing their minds. Like people come in and they see the drone, they're like, oh my god. And like I'll put the monitor over by them, and it's just like, ooh, oh, ooh, hey, oh, wow. And then oh man, it's it's so cool. And like people realize like a couple times last night, I would just hear like, yo man, the precision, Jesus. Like it's so worth it. And I can almost guarantee you that there's a group of RC drift folks somewhere near you that are doing this. Maybe at somebody's house, maybe at a spot like this. But yeah, RC drift cars are more popular than FPV. So if you can find somebody to fly with, you can probably find a group to chase around in these little guys. That's going to be a really cool little ad for Altitude Raceway. Altitude Raceway is the guy that has the red station wagon. And it's just like a name that he picked for like a lot of this stuff to build the tracks is his. And so yeah, he seems to be like one of the guys that kind of organizes some of this stuff. So yeah, that's what Altitude Raceway is. This guy with a little drift truck. See, this is the problem with the vertical field of view is it's hard to keep them, like you got to really work to keep them dead center in your FPV viewfinder, and you end up with a lot of this. Like a second ago, he was on the corner. But we just couldn't see him because of the tall aspect ratio. Hello, lovely.
Hi.
How was that for you?
It was good.
Cool.
I'm tired. You're streaming, right?
I am.
Tell him I said hello.
Maggie says hello, friends. Look at that angle. Look at that steering angle. Good lord. We got one more little chase here. Little IS-300 with a bunch of stickers. Ooh, getting in there. Yeah, look at the body pushing up against the railing. I love seeing him work the throttle. I love seeing him pick up and pick up the throttle and then jump on the brakes. Oh God, this is ridiculous. Oh man, I got up in there on that one. A little bump and run. Get it. Yeah, there were more people there last night too. I'm hoping that with me doing a bunch of these Instagram stories, that this will become more and more popular, and there'll be like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars out there at any given time for the entire, from like 7:30 until close. That would be really cool. So yeah, there you go. There's the full, that's the full 120 frame per second. Wait, no. Didn't I get one more? Hold on. Oh yeah, I did get one more, but it was just sitting on the table. And then, so as a contrast, here's the regular Pro Video mode in 1440p with the ability to turn on Horizon Lock, which is pretty cool. And we don't need that. So if I go... Well, so Horizon Lock is on right now. And we have the option to change aspect ratio. We might as well watch it in 16:9. But yeah, so this is now 30 frames a second. With, man, the Horizon Lock is just so good. It just adds such a level of like it's like polish. It just makes it look so polished, and it really, man, like this interspersed with, I'm pissed that I only have that vertical view from the 120 frames, because I want to edit this in with the 120, right? Like you do a little bit of this, and then you cut in some 120 when the song slows down, and then when the song picks back up again, you jump into this with a nice Horizon Lock. So I'll have to remember that for next Thursday. Ugh. And yeah, so this is that's the battery dying on the Insta360 Go 2, and then I guess there's one more here, which the battery dies in here as well. There it is. There's Altitude's car. This red, I think it's a RS6 Avant. Audi's RS6 station wagon. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. He's a hell of a driver too. He's into sim racing too, so he's like a good driver of cars, as well as RC drift cars. And now it's starting to get a little bit darker in here because the sun's gone down. And I think next time, this is a little bit stuttery, I've noticed, in 30 frames. I think because we're just moving... I think it's because we're moving quick, and I think it's also because the shutter speed is... Like, look how much motion blur there is up in the trees. I'm going to force the Pro Video next time into 50 frames a second to try to get around some of this stutteriness. I've noticed lately that, yeah, this looks a little bit stuttery. Unfortunately, by doing that, it's going to force my guess is that this is 30 frames a second, and this is dropping the frame rate all the way down to 1/30th of a second. By going up to 50 frames a second, I'll have to raise the shutter speed to a 50th, which will take away a little bit of its like low light abilities. But I'm hoping that it'll smooth things out a little bit, because yeah, there's just like a little bit of like there, you can really see it there. Look at the stuttering. See it there? Right? Stutter, 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 stutter. It has to do with the gaps between the frames and the really low shutter speed. This is basically why you want your shutter speed to be double your frame rate. If you're 30 frames a second, you don't want your shutter speed to be down at 1/30th. You want it to be at 1/60th. It avoids this little bit of stutteriness. Unfortunately, there's no way to do that. Like on I think GoPros allow you to do it. You can set like a bottom to your wait, you know what? You can do it on the Insta360 Go. So yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll have to run the Insta360 in shutter priority. So I'll be able to lock the shutter speed at double the frame rate, and then it will vary the ISO. So I can't run it in full manual because this back corner here is infinitely dark, and then the rest of the track up here is getting sunlight and light from this source here, so it's much brighter. So I would love to run it in full manual and lock the ISO and lock the shutter. But if I did that, it would be too bright here and or too dark in this back corner. So yeah, what I'm gonna do instead is lock the shutter down, and then it'll move the ISO up and down as it needs to adjust. And we'll see if that fixes this little bit of stuttering. The Instagram edit that I put up today actually really shows that stuttering. You can really, and it's from footage from last Thursday. You can really see the stuttering for some reason in that. I almost think that something weird happened though, because like I made the Instagram reel a couple days ago and then I saved it, and then I went back into it and I did a little bit more and I saved it again. And I think something might have happened and that the reel got weird because I don't know, it seemed really stuttery before I uploaded it, but I digress. Let me get caught up on chat because I've been just yapping and yapping and yapping. Freeloader says, Tiny or Weebleed has BLV3. Newbie Drone Binding Flies, I think, are FR Sky that are left. Good call, brother. I didn't even think to look elsewhere. NBD BLV3. Let's see who else might have it. Pyro Drone has it. Raced it. Wow, $100. But the Tiny Lifter is a hell of a rig. Freelojo also said Weebleed. All right, cool. Oh, and Tiny Whoop. Cool. Tiny Whoop, Weebleed, Pyro Drone, Race Day Quads. All have the... Oh, that's the BLV4. Okay, so maybe Race Day Quads doesn't have it. But it looks like... Well, let's make sure it's in stock. Yep, in stock at Pyro Drone. If you think that you're going to build a Tiny Lifter... snag one of these. You might as well snag one of these now. I am not confident at all that the BLV4 is going to be able to handle 2S. I talked to Kelvin a bunch yesterday about it, and he's going to have his engineers build a Tiny Lifter to try and figure it out. But I really feel like it's a physical problem. I don't think it's something that they're going to be able to fix in the software. I hope that they can, but my gut says that it's there's something going on hardware related. I'm not seeing the BLV3 anywhere else, so I think those are your only spots to get it. Just kind of looking around a little bit. And if you're really serious about having a Tiny Lifter, I would actually buy 2 of them. CiottiFPV had a 2S toothpick that he flew for a while that I believe he had on BLV3s, and he went through a couple of the BLV3s. Now, that's a toothpick, and he admitted to me like multiple times, like I was flying it hard. He was flying like full throttle all the time, crashing it hard, like really just beating on it. So the tiny lifter is not going to get abused like that. But yeah, I would snag another one because we might not. The X12 will not fit in a frame that's going to really work for a tiny lifter. So once the BLV3 goes away, we might be assed out in terms of building these tiny lifters. Maybe somebody else will make another AIO that's the standard size that will take 2S. But I don't know. We'll see. As a reminder, this is my full-time job. Patreon is the way that you can help me out the most. We've had one new patron for pretty much every single live stream lately. Who's it going to be tonight, yo? Somebody that's not a patron. We're waiting for you. The Gangly Gang is waiting for you. You're going to love our nuts. Come on over. CiottiFPV.com has the link to Patreon. Join us. It's well worth 10 cents a day. Let's get a new gear fund up. Let's get a Wokest of Snails fund. Here's the problem with the Wokest of Snails fund. This is going to be a big ass number. I think this is going to be like $600. Let's take a quick look. Walk snail goggles. I love that the Fat Shark Dominator goggles have come down to $480, but I hate that they're bright white. What the hell? The Walk Snail goggles are $5.99? What shit? What fuck? Is that real? Or is that just TBS charging way too much money for some shit? Wow. There's no difference in these goggles, right? These are the exact same goggles, but with a different plastic case on the outside. What the hell? $5.99. Wow. All right. Well, so not getting black goggles. So $480, and then so this is what I'm really interested in is the 1S kit. $480 and then $108. But then I also want one of the Avatar V2s. $480, so $580, $590, and then so this, the Avatar, would be for a 3-inch rig to see how Walk Snail is on a 3-inch rig. $480, $580, $590, $690, $700, $750, because we got to try the Pro, right? So $750, and then YouTube's going to take 30%. $750, and then $225, $975. Oh my god, FPV is still not expensive, but it's certainly a lot more expensive than it used to be. Jesus hell balls. What did I just say? Did I just say $950? No, $975. So there it is. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Hold on! What did I say? $975? Ooh. 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 That's rough. That's rough. But what? I don't know. But chicken butt. Wokest of Snails Fund. What you know about that? Okay. Okay. All right. The Wokest of Snails Fund is. Does that? No, nobody's gonna understand that. Nobody's gonna understand that, are they? Woke Snail Fund. Woke Snail. What can I call this that's a little bit longer? That's why I did Wokest of Snails, because I wanted it to be a little bit longer, so you could see it a little bit better. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just leave it. Okay. So there it is, friends. All right. All you got to do to, if you want to donate to that fund, you can do a super chat or a PayPal over on CiottiFPV.com, and you just have to call out, this is for the Woke Snail Fund. Even if you're not watching this live, if you do a PayPal, I save all of those emails, and then on the next live stream, I give you a big fat shout out, because it's the absolute least that I can do. So yeah, if you're not live, you're still going to get a shout out, just like folks that do it live. You're just going to have to watch the next live stream in order to hear your name get read on the internet, where it's forever. All right, I gotta get caught up on chat. I'm over an hour behind on chat. Titan says, got any advice for the new AIO, for a new AIO than XD? I run 802 29700. Titan, the only AIO that I can recommend is the Mobula 6 ELRS full-sized 5-amp regular old AIO. Every single other AIO in comparison sucks. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's true. Kiz Bartlett says, I know you can make me a better pilot, but can you make me a better I mean, look, it's just about giving a shit, and it's just about paying attention. Just care. That's all. Just pay attention. Listen. You got this. It's all about just paying attention, friends. Just give a shit. Listen. You'll be all right. Mountaineer FPV Drone Life says, YouTube changed some... Here, let me show you what YouTube changed that makes me want to fucking scream. I used to be able to click just at random in here, and it would just select this window. But for some reason now, when I click, it opens this fucking pop-up every time. It used to open the pop-up when you would click the 3 dots, which is, you know, why the 3 dots are there. I just now realized that if I click the 3 dots a second time, it goes away. So now we're cool. Mountaineer FPV Drone Life says, where you at again? I see that flyer chip behind you. Oh, yeah, I grew up in New Jersey. My dad was a huge Flyers fan, as was I growing up. Yeah, so I grew up in New Jersey, right over there, like less than an hour from Philly. And then 7 or 8 years ago, I moved to Charleston, South Carolina. And then 3-ish years ago, I moved here to Atlanta. And so, yeah, I am in the mecca of FPV here in Atlanta. Saucy Jack says, speaking of affiliate links, any news on when we believe we'll have BT300 mAh batteries back in stock soon? Soon. No specific info, but definitely soon. They put the order in for them weeks ago. So it's... yeah, everything is slow right now. Not just everything. I'm hearing this from all the manufacturers that yeah, they put orders in and they used to wait like weeks and now they're waiting months. So, Metalritzson says Pyro has or had those Dogcom 300 mAh BT 2.0 batteries in stock, so I took a chance on them. Let's say they do while we wait for Weebly to restock. Very cool. Let us know, Metal, for sure. I've heard bad things about the Dogcom 260s. I haven't heard anything about the 300s. Gene Loco says, start a Woke Snail Fund. Done. Blizzard FPV says, no, we got that. Thank you again for the $2 super chat, brother. 220 rather. Frank Nicholas says Amazon Marketplace is a third-party seller selling on Amazon. Ah, got it. Right. I thought that looked weird. Okay, and I can delete that email now. Freeloader says Amazon doesn't always charge right away. Sometimes 5 days after purchase is generally when it ships. Yeah, it's weird. I've never noticed that before. June Logo says how much weight... Where did it go? June Logo says how much weight does it add? The foam skids? Nothing. Punani says your maths isn't mathing. Metadritson says GemFan makes a folding 4-inch T-mount. I have those on my Flywheel Explorer. Well, that's pretty cool. Have you put a bunch of batteries through those metal? Are they completely... The folding props sketch me out a little bit because they can come apart. They probably won't, but they can. Have you put a ton of batteries through those? Are those safe? That'd be nice to hear some feedback on them. The 2X Whiskey says, don't modern TVs have USB inputs? Use your USB VRX that's a part of your current streaming setup. It's an interesting idea. I wonder if that would work. I know that my TV has a USB in, but there's no input in the selection of inputs to select the USB. I thought that they were putting USBs on them for updates. I don't know. That's interesting. I could try that. Let me leave this out. I just gotta find it's a regular old USB. I'll throw that over there, and that'll remind me to check it. Good thinking. Bobby Bag says VGA to HDMI cable. Amazon has them. So yeah, that would have me. I would have to tether my goggles in, which would I don't want to do. Greg Gerber says if you know someone with HDs. Oh, we talked about that. Hunani says, couldn't you cast it to the TV if it had screen mirroring from Android? Maybe. The guy that was asking me about this last night was asking me if like I can get the video into Apple. Apparently the TVs had Apple streaming. And I said no. Athix says you have two sets of oh, of course, right. 2 sets of goggles. One for the TV, one for me. Yeah, that's very true. I hate to let the Fat Shark sit there and just run though, right? Because it's going to run the shit out of the Fat Shark screens. And like it would be nice to have it be going through rapid fire, but it's 20. The racetrack is 20 feet away, so there's really no need for that. That's totally an option, though. For sure, that's an option. Athix is one for the. Athix also says also you're considering Walksnail, very much so. I've been talking about Walksnail for a while now. It's got onboard DVR in 1080. Like that's amazing. That's amazing for tiny whoops, and the little 1S setup is very lightweight, so that's incredible for like a 75mm rig, but also for the 3-inch freestyle rigs. Like just having Walksnail on board of a 3-inch rig. Is kind of amazing because you can see where you're going with HD through your goggles, and then it's going to record the DVR on board. So yeah, Walksnail makes an awful lot of sense for 3-inch rigs. Mutteritson says, not when, did you see the new Happymodel Cross AIO, no VTX, Serial Express LRS, black box, claims to support 2S? I saw it. I didn't realize some of those things, though. I didn't realize it. I knew that it didn't have a VTX. I knew that it was UART-based ELRS. I knew that it had black box. I didn't realize that they say it'll do 2S. That doesn't really help us with the tiny lifters, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing that, because that means they're starting to overbuild it, right? Michael D says, I hate not being able to click into here. YouTube just did the thing. Where was I? Michael D says, you don't want the Cross F4 Shogun Emperor. Oh, you don't want the Cross F4 Shogun Emperor, Happy Model Team Pilot. He recently did a couple of videos on it. The ESCs seem to have issues. Think diamond board cross-shaped. That's fine. That's fine, because the beta FPV cross AIO has been proven by the racers to be awesome, and there's also that other cross style AIO on Newbie Drone that we almost bought. So yeah, we've got cross AIOs. Right 9 says, oh, WJH, what's up? So WJH is one of the WJH. Is that you with the truck? Yeah, the owner of the little drift truck messaged me on Facebook, and I said, yo, if you want to see all the footage, I'm playing it on my live stream tonight at 7. I haven't told any of the other guys there that about the live stream, so it would make an awful lot of sense if that's who it is. So speaking of, I had said that, and I want to show you guys the rest of the footage. It's 8:38. I always try to wrap these up by 9, sometimes more successfully than others, because Bot Grinder goes on at 9. But yeah, here's some of the other footage. So here is, and I've begun a quick and dirty little edit with this footage. So this is the Fractal 65 build. You'll notice there's no ducts in view whatsoever, and you'll also notice that I'm able to fly much harder than with the tiny lifter, because this rig weighs like a third as much. 0702 30,000 kV motors, 1S of course. Fractal 65 frame. This has the T-motor AIO that was falling out of the air the other night, but it acted completely fine because I didn't really push it hard, because you just don't when you're flying cinematically. So yeah, here's some of that Fractal 65 footage. I was really impressed. Having the camera really low, it just works really well, because you can drop all the way down onto the carpet before anything hits the carpet. With the tiny lifter, the batteries are hanging like almost an inch off the bottom. What the hell was that? Why did that happen? What? I don't know what the hell's going on here, but yeah, so with the tiny lifter, there's a lot more hanging off the bottom. So you drop low, you drop low, you drop low, and then all of a sudden you hit the carpet. With this Fractal 65 build, when you have the nose down a little bit, the camera is almost the lowest point, and that really helps with your perception. Like you when you get to the point where you think the camera is going to hit the carpet because it is right at the carpet, that's when it's going to hit the carpet. So it really allows you to just be a lot more accurate when you're trying to dump elevation down like this. So that that's one of the reasons why Rugi made the Cineglide with the weird dick nose and the FPV camera sitting really far forward, really far down. It accomplishes the same thing. In case you don't know that rig, it's this one right here. So that was Bob's exact thinking with this rig, is that if I put the camera all the way out here, and the camera is the absolute lowest point, when you're railing around and you're skimming the ground, the FPV camera, I mean, by the time it hits, it's like less than an inch off the ground. So it just gives you a little bit of a easier time flying extremely low to the ground. It makes the frame look really stupid, but you know, when you're in the goggles, you don't see it. So what do you care? So on these are all 270 mAh batteries. I was flying the Tiny Whoop 270 mAh batteries, which was pretty cool because they made up for a little bit of the extra weight that the Fractal frame added to this build, and yeah, it felt really good. I didn't get the runtime that I was used to, but it doesn't really matter when you got a whole bunch of batteries, right? yeah, like I said, I'm actually picking up the screwdriver now. I am going to switch this rig out to a slightly lower KV motor. Just kind of hunting for even more throttle resolution. And I mean, it just kind of makes sense to, this build is only going to do this. It is only going to do this drift chasing. This is not a freestyle build. It doesn't even really make sense to. It really only makes sense for this, for me at least. This build is specifically catered to doing this. So yeah, I'm gonna try to find a motor that's perfect for this as well. One of the cool things is that, like, not crashing, I don't have to build like 3 of these. I can just have this one, and that's kind of nice. You know, with freestyle and with like paid work, you have to have multiples, right? Like in the film world, the saying is 2 is 1 and 1 is none. And when you get really serious, the saying becomes 3 is 1 and 1 is none. Because you have to have multiples, because, you know, when you're like, day rate for camera operators is a lot of money. And if you show up and your gear goes down, it's unacceptable. And like, you won't get hired again. With freestyle, it's mainly because we bash shit so hard and we break shit so often. But yeah, in this case, it's amazing to just be able to have this one build that's specifically dedicated for this. I've been flying a bunch of different rigs just to kind of test the cameras and see if maybe I can learn something here or there. But yeah, a nice little bonus for sure that I recently realized here is that I really only need to have this one 65mm rig with the carpet scraping camera. I started to play around with flying backwards, and I'm starting to figure out the different. There you go. I'm starting to figure out the different ways to keep these guys in frame. One of the biggest challenges to chasing cars that have a lot of grip, right, because they have rubber that's against concrete. In this case, it's plastic against carpet, but that still has a lot more grip than the air. One of the biggest challenges for us is how do we not overshoot when they get on the brakes, and then how do we keep up when they stand on the throttle. We can easily keep up, but in order to do so, we have to bury the nose, and then that fucks up the framing of the shot. So, yeah, it's a really, really, really fun challenge to try to keep these guys in frame the entire time while you match their speed, you match their cornering, they're speeding up, they're slowing down. Just like with real motorsport and real drift cars. That is kind of the name of the game, is where can you just, it's like, what do you do with the momentum? You know, you're going to build up a bunch of momentum. What do you do with it? How do you work with it? And so, you know, when they slow down really fast, if you can rocket around them and then fly backwards for a second, they will probably catch back up with you. And it just looks amazing when you get it right. I haven't gotten it quite right yet, but it's just practice, man. This is I can't wait to see, like, I can't wait to get even better at this. Like I'm pretty surprised that I'm as decent as I am, which is mainly just down to flying a lot of tiny whoop batteries over the last like year, many of which are here on the live streams. But this is a fairly specific kind of discipline, so I'm really looking forward to just putting in more and more and more and more hours to this, and seeing how far I can go with it, because this is cool, man. Like, and this is safe, and this will never, you know, like gas, like petroleum will eventually get expensive enough that real drifting goes away. This ain't going nowhere, yo. Like, you can probably put together one of these drift cars for $400-500 all in. And so, yeah, like, this ain't going nowhere. And it's very, very fun. I'm sure that drifting for real in a real car is more fun than driving these things line of sight. But it's inevitable that especially with the O3 system, now that there's stabilization in the goggles, it's absolutely inevitable that FPV becomes more popular on these, and then you're in the goggles, and then, I mean, I'm sure it's only a matter of time as well before head tracking starts to come in. So now you've got basically a VR setup in a little RC drift car. And I mean, other than not having G-force at that point, like, it's pretty much 1-to-1 with the real thing. And we'll be right there chasing along, providing amazing footage if I can have anything to do with it. So, yeah. Come with me on a journey of insanity, my friends. Where are we at here? This is motor number 4, so we're going to put this guy on here. Just swapping out some of these motors and props here. Let me get... I forgot that I'm way behind on chat. Right, no, we got that. Mutterson says, there you go. Sunday live stream from the RC Drift Track. Oh, wow, that's true. I wonder what time... they... It's just me being a ham. I wonder what time... I haven't been on a Sunday yet. I wonder what time they drift on Sundays. That could be really fun. Holy shit. Do it as a live stream. My God. That's just combining all the things. Yeah, that might be too much. Might be too much there. That would be really difficult for me. I guess not. I mean, I guess I can just set up a little station and just sit there and fly from the desk. I like standing next to the drivers because we can like talk and you know, scream and laugh and shit together. If I was doing it during a live stream, I'd have to have like a little battle station in the back corner. And they have to stand trackside because they're line of sight, right? So they wouldn't like be able to come back with me unless some of them start to go FPV. I'm actually, I mean, man, an RC drift car with an O3 air unit and stable and the whatever the hell they call it, what is it, Rocksteady turned on with full 4K coming out of like the in-car. Oh my God, are you kidding me? That would be insane. I have to assume. I mean, maybe these cars shake even harder than what Rocksteady would be able to handle. I think that's why you don't see FPV a lot on RC cars. Is the shaking? I'll bet that it makes you sick. I feel like I've heard that it makes you sick. Every once in a while, I would go check the monitor to make sure that the battery hadn't gone dead. Okay, put another motor on here. Just working on this shit while this plays. Putting these Weebleed FPV Gore motors on. I'm tempted to go even lower kV on the motors for this rig, but I can just do it with throttle limiting if I want to go down that road. Come on, get on there. There we go. Hey, WJH, if you type CiottiFPV into your chat comment, it'll light up an orange for me, and those are the chat comments that I read. I typically do. I don't read every single chat comment because it can get a little bit busy, and I usually have a lot to talk about. So, can't not love seeing. I'm just going to read through a couple of WJH's comments. So you can't not love seeing the suspension movement. If you're able to make it here on Sundays, we start. Oh, there we go. Sundays we start at noon, so it's a little brighter. Oh, that's cool. I live stream 3 to 5 on Sundays, so noon is rough. I'd have to be out of there at like 2. All right, so hey, now we're into the camera testing. So this is me showing the other rigs so that I know which. Oh, so this is obvious. This is the same rig. All right, cool. So guys, help me figure out which camera looks best. This is the Newbie Drone BI camera. This is the rig that has the shittiest antenna on it, though. So try to ignore the analog video garbage. But yeah, let's try to figure out which camera is best. There's going to be wider field of view. There's going to be narrower field of view. This camera is a little bit front focused, like we were talking about on Wednesday, which is not the worst thing in the world because I'm trying to have like a really close proximity to these guys. That's a cool shot right there with him wailing above my head. So yeah, there's going to be 5 videos in a row here, 5 batteries in a row with 5 different cameras. Let's see if we can figure out which camera is the best. After I get done swapping these motors, I'll try to pick a still frame from each one of these and take a screenshot of it, and we can put them up like one after the next to really figure it out. But for right now, let's just let these roll, because I did say that I was going to play all the footage on tonight's live stream. So that's what we're doing. All right, 2 motors down, 2 motors to go. Denzel the Terrible says, are those racetrack lighting fixtures? They are indeed. They are real world, big boy racetracks. The one that's right above this surface is Monza, I believe. Let me get a better look at it. Right above there, I think that was Road America. I'm pretty sure that's Monza there. Let me just think about that. Well, no, I can't think about too many things at once. But yeah, those are all real racetracks, those lighting fixtures. Really, really cool. And then they just have LED strip lights up on top. And they're addressable. So like on the other side of the room, you can see they're blue and green, and it's really cool. This place, again, it's called Torque Motorsports, it's really, really cool in there. It's a really slick spot to kind of hang out, and they've got a whole shitload of sim rigs, and yeah, it's pretty rad. Very, very lucky to have something like this around. So yeah, this is the Newbie Drone BI camera on this Fractal build that I am currently putting lower KV motors on. So what this means is I now have 2 sets of these Tiny Whoop 0702 30,000s. So I will be doing another live auction build to be live auctioned, and this time it'll have 702 30,000s. The first one we did, no, the second one we did had 702 28,500s. The third one we did had 702 32,000s. And so now this one will have 30,000s. All right, so here we go. So now we've got another camera. What did I just say? All right, so there's the Fractal rig. There's that rig. Okay, so by process of elimination, I have all these. Hold on, I got to watch that again. I think this is okay. So this is the OG lens on the Runcam Nano 3. Runcam Nano 3, no longer available, OG round lens. That's what we're about to watch. And so this shouldn't have quite as wide of a field of view. This now has a proper True RC Singularity antenna on it, so we should get a little bit better signal strength, a little bit less garbage in the video. Well, it's still kind of garbagey. Still some garbage. That's surprising. So yeah, this is now a standard Tiny I just left it armed that whole time just to see how far he could take me along for a ride. Oh, shit. For the record, there were a couple of cars with big old wangs on the back, and I was absolutely trying to land between the rear window and the wang. You know why there's video garbage? It's because there's other quads in the air and or plugged in. That's where you can almost see someone else's OSD. Yeah, Mobula 7 HD is rolling across the screen right now. Somebody's in the menu. Or no, it's post-flight stats. So there's one other rig in the air, it looks like, and then it looks like there's somebody that's on the ground. So that's why we've got not perfectly clean video. Nothing jumps out at me. Like, this camera doesn't jump out at me as being like way better. Yeah, there's the other rig. It's really cool when there's the other pilots are RC. There we go. There's me landing on the wing. The other two pilots are into the RC drift cars, and they just also happen to fly tiny whoops. And they're pretty good. Like the one of them's been flying for like 3 years, I think he said. The other one is much more new, and I'm really impressed by them. They're way better than I thought. There it is. So that's what I was trying to get. That's like full blown landing on the roof of the car and riding him for a minute, and then successfully taking back off. I was trying to get that for a while. Oh shit. So yeah, it's really cool to see another tiny whoop out there chasing, trying more of the backwards stuff. I did E6000 welder's glue the camera down in this fractal frame because it kept wanting to rotate, and that worked really well. So if you build a fractal, expect that you're going to have to glue the camera down up front to keep it from just like literally rotating in the frame, so that when you think you're flying forward, you're actually flying sideways, because the camera, the little TPU, it's got nothing to prevent it from kind of rotating in there. So yeah, a couple of little dabs of glue and you're good to go with that. You could use hot glue as well. That would work totally fine. All right, so I got these motors swapped out. That's pretty exciting. Yeah, I don't know. This camera does not strike me as being that much better to write home about. Know what I'm saying? All right, which one's up next? Let's see. Caddx Ant, I think I just said. Yes, Caddx Ant. So this is now the Light, the Caddx Ant Light. Okay, so something I definitely notice is it's less contrasty. This is the Caddx Ant, which you can actually hook up a little remote controller to. So I could go in and up the contrast. Oh, wow. It's also a lot brighter. Interesting. That could be a big deal. Although, will this mount in the... I also have to make sure that the camera will work in the fractal frame. It looks like this would. Yeah, I think this would work in the fractal frame. Cool. We would just need to get... this version has the screw holes. I would need to get the version of it without the screw holes, which I think I have. I think I have one of those somewhere. It might be in a toothpick. So I could just steal it out of there. Or snag an extra one, I guess. These little Nano cameras are so cheap. All right, so Caddx Ant Light looks pretty good. I mean, what I want is the camera that delivers the most detail. Like, the amount of brightness is whatever. You can add brightness in post. Brightness is usually not like the sensor being better. It's just the settings that are cranked up. They just basically, you can crank the brightness up in the settings and now you've got a brighter view. What we're looking for is the most detail possible from one of these outrageously small cameras. Getting up in there, literally. I've also been able to get the up tilt very low on this Fractal 65 build, which, good lord, is that difficult to adapt to, but once I adapted to it, it was really, really nice. So that was kind of cool. Another plus for this Fractal frame. Because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get that, if you remember from Wednesday. Wednesday I was having a hard time getting the camera angle low enough. But once I put that glue on there, it was good to go. Okay, so now we are on to, all right, so now we're on to a 75 millimeter build. And hold on. Okay, so that's so that would be this one. Okay, this is the Runcam Nano 3 current version with the lens that has the little like slots or whatever on the outside. But yeah, this is now the regular old Runcam Nano 3. And okay, this looks pretty bright too. I was trying to help him. He was stuck, so I was trying to help him, which is pretty much a joke because I weigh 25 grams and that car probably weighs 5 pounds. And then we were laughing about it, and so I figured I would give him the full Tiny Whoop experience and hit his ass. So I've now indoctrinated one more person to Tiny Whoop culture by slamming into them. Slamming into their car, too. All right, get out of here, little motor. Wow, this looks pretty good. It's nice and bright. And now as we fly more and more here, the sun is going down outside, so this track is getting darker and darker. So yeah, that's kind of even more impressive that this thing is as bright as it is. I would love for this to be the right camera. Because this Runcam Nano 3, I believe, is what the Fractal 65 frame was built to run for a camera. This looks pretty good. I'll be interested to get a still image. I'll be interested once I get some still images. All right, so the Fractal 65 build is now good. I just need to put it into beta flight and get the motor spinning in the right direction. Let me leave this on my desk as a reminder to do that. Okay, back into chat. Bert's Hasuizo says, if your drone goes down on the trek, should you throw yourself onto the track while screaming like a Sunday school girl who's seen the devil and shield the drone with your body? No, you should not. You should act like Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights and pretend like you're on fire. That's the move. Jason Crabtree says, what speed is this playback? Everything is 1:1. So, well, no. I think Jason, he posted that at 8:12. So that was probably when I was playing the 120 frame per second footage. So that was 0.25x. It was filmed in 120 frames and then played back at 30 frames. So that's 0.25 speed. Okay, last up is going to be the Foxeer Pico Razor. Yep, regular old Foxeer Pico Razor. And you can see by the sides of the screen that this is now a PAL camera, which gives us a little bit more vertical field of view, but a little bit less frame rate. NTSC cameras are supposedly 30 frames a second. PAL cameras are supposedly 25 frames per second. But what's weird is the footage that I got from the Newbie Drone BI camera, which is an NTSC camera, I swear it was 60 frames a second because I was able to slow it down to half speed and it was still running at 30 frames a second. So I don't know what to think anymore. I love having more vertical field of view with this PAL camera because that makes it a little bit easy. That makes it a little bit better for me to get Instagram reel vertical, 9:16. it does put a bunch more of the ducts in view, which I don't love. But if I were to settle on this camera and put it into the front of a Fractal frame, the ducts would go away. I think the problem with this camera, though, is going to be the body. Yeah, the body of this camera is kind of thick, so it might be a little bit of a struggle to get it into the Fractal 65 frame. But I could probably figure out a way to make it work. The question is, does it look better? Like, does this camera look better than the others? From like a Christmas and detail and whatever standpoint. Looks like WJH is hanging out in chat, answering questions. Very cool. Welcome to the Gangly Gang, WJ. Ryan9 says, I can't wait for you to get a walk snail setup so DJI can make a 1S setup for the rest of us immediately after your purchase. Yeah, sounds about right. Sounds about right. June Loco with a $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. Scrolling back up, YouTube just did the thing. So what do you guys think? You guys have now seen all 5 of the cameras. Does one of them jump out to you as being better than another? This is me adjusting the throttle expo to make sure it's dialed in, and it was. Just moved it up a little bit. Yeah, you gotta take brightness out of the equation. Because we can get the brightness. We can get it in post, we can get it, yeah, we can get the brightness. The brightest camera is not the best. We just want, this camera looks a little noisy. And with brightness tends to come noise. Is this a camera that you can hook a controller up to? No. So the Pico Razor, you cannot adjust the settings. Interesting. To me, all of these cameras look so bad that I have a really hard time picking which one is the best. I mean, we're not even picking which one's the best. We're just picking the least bad one. So yeah, there we go. I'll get still shots in a minute, but let me oh, WJH is the super driver. Oh, very cool. Very, very, very cool. Another Trucking FPV channel says, what's that frame on the bench? It is a Cinesplorer with the ducts removed. This is my rear-facing DJI build. It's an analog Cinesplorer that for these Criterium Cup cycling races, I put a so it's analog front facing. I put a DJI camera and Vista in it on mounts with down tilt in the rear, so I can fly this thing in front of the peloton of riders and get a rear facing view. So you get their faces and you get to see them from, the front, which is incredibly challenging. But this is also my analog Cinesplorer. So if I fly a gig where I decide that I want to do analog, this is the one. This is also the lightweight Cinesplorer, which is kind of cool. And yeah, it's really cool that I can have it do double duty with this rear-facing DJI on it without having to build another rig. And it's a pretty simple swap over because I run a 20x20 Rush tank 20x20 in the rear, and then I've just got really long M2 hardware above that. So I just take the Vista, drop the Vista down, and then I've just got I run the antenna off the side standoff, and then I've got a separate set of 30 gauge wires going from the ESC pads with a little connector, and I just run power to the Vista because that's all it needs, right? Power and an antenna, and then it talks to the goggles. I put my DJI goggles down, linked into the fiber that goes to the TV truck, and yeah, signal goes in, and then I throw the Fat Sharks on and try to It's hard because once I'm in front of the pack, I have no idea if I'm too far forward or I'll know if I'm too far back because they'll pass under me. But I don't want that, right? Like I want to be right in front of them and I'm just blind. So I try to come swooping in and pass them. And then I just try to estimate their speed and just pay attention to my elevation. Super challenging, but super fun. Gardo Rotor's in the house. What's up, yo? He's probably still not here, but dig the small scale drift chasing. Thank you, dude. Freelojo says K-Truck 03. If I was going to drive it some, I would think about it. Oh, boy. That would be dope. Oh, Brandon's Baked Beans with a really good point. 03 needs MSP signal to get out of 6 megabit per second mode, though. You know, I didn't even think about that with this rig. So the question becomes, can I hook that up? Can I build it so wow, okay. I can't believe it was working last year. So the question becomes, can I hook up what would I need? I would need to hook up the RX pad on the Vista to an open UART on the flight controller TX pad. And then I would need to turn MSP on there. And the question becomes, will that interfere with the analog video? I don't think that it will, because I won't be using the video wire to go into the flight controller. I'm going to have to test that. Thank you for saying that, Brandon. I did not even think of that. I can't believe that it worked as well as it did last time. Although, man, I was having some serious signal strength issues with all of the rigs last time, so maybe... but yeah, I'm gonna have to get an MSP signal. You are exactly right. So this little double wire jibby jabby needs to get switched out. I need to hook up a 3-wire bracket connector set to this thing because the 3rd wire, I want it to be easily disconnectable. Is that a word? Disconnectable? And yeah, dude, good call. Jesus. Okay, so I left that out. I'm pretty sure I didn't do that last time. I'm pretty sure. I hardwired it last time, and then when I was taking the Vista out, I was like, well, this is stupid. I have connectors. And I said to myself, ooh, should I do the connectors now or should I wait until I build it again? And I decided to wait. So yeah, I'm up. Now it's time to do that. WJH says you really need head tracking to do FPV drifting. That makes a lot of sense because they're putting like 45, 50 degrees of angle on. You really have to be looking out the side window. Michael D says, I put an ant... Oh, wait, hold on. I can move the chat back over. YouTube just did the thing. I'm trying to find my place again. Where's it at? Michael D says, put an Ant Light on my Mobula 7 1S. I like it much better than the current Runcam Nano 3. WH says, I'm running almost 0 degrees on my Mobula 6 and Mobula 7 HD. Very cool. Very smart. Brandon's Baked Beans says there's an Arduino project that spoofs the arming MSP signal. That's cool. That's very cool. Although, to be honest, I would rather just hook it up to the flight controller, you know what I mean? Like, and then it'll get the arming signal and all as well. Because that Arduino project, I'm sure there's another something that needs to be put in there. This would be nice to just have this extra wire. Freelojo says Vista doesn't need MSP. So who's right? Brandon or Freelojo? You guys fight it out. Hey. Who was it? Somebody was talking to me on Discord about they had built a Raspberry Pi with a screen and 3D printed a beautiful case. This was back before the first cycling event. So this is like a year ago. And it was when I was trying to figure out how to get HDMI out. Oh no, I'm talking about Vista, guys, not 03. I'm talking about Vista. I thought Vista needed MSP. 03, so it looks like Vista doesn't need MSP, but 03 does. Metaderson says Vista doesn't need MSP if it's not. Oh, that's what it is. If it's not in auto low power mode, and when you want to output to the smart controller, you have to turn off low power mode. Okay, cool. Or low power temp protection. Okay, so that's why I wasn't having problems with it last year, because once you turn off low temp protection. Okay, cool. So I can just wire up power. That's terrific. A little bit less work. This is why live streaming is everything right here. Hey, yeah, so who was it that had built that Raspberry Pi with the monitor with the 3D printed case that was like, yo, I built this, but I'm probably not going to use it. Do you want to buy it or have it or borrow it or something? The reason that I ask is that apparently the 03 system into the new goggles, USB out to a Pi running Cosmos Streamer will then output 1080. I have 3 of these cycling events booked this year, and the TV truck is still 720 for their live streams. So I don't need it yet, but down the road, if these guys go to 1080, it would be nice to maybe have that. One of the guys in production that's not super involved had mentioned that this new truck that they're getting for these events was 1080, and then I actually like 3 days ago talked to the technical folks, and they're like, nah, we're 720 59.97. I'm like, perfect, we good to go. So yeah, I was digging through my Discord messages, and I just couldn't find who it was. Denzel the Terrible thinks it's Abraham or Metaldertskin. Metaldertskin says, I built one, but it's not a nice case. It's janky rat's nest of wires. It was a from what I remember, it was a clear case. And I don't remember the rat. I can't speak to the rat's nest of it, but the case itself was clear and just looked really well designed. All right. Last thing we're going to do is quickly get a screen grab from each one of these cameras and see if we can figure out. It doesn't look like anybody in chat really has like a super hardcore opinion of which of those 5 cameras looks better. Lego D says Nano 3 Lite has a lot of noise in low light. Anderson says NTSC, never twice the same color. Francis McBean says NTSC is not your pal. Although, hold on. Let me show you this weird. Let me show you the frame per second thing. Look at how many frames a second we're getting in some of these. So this is this playback software is Inna, and Inna will, when I feed Inna 60 frames per second video, and then I do this, it does display. It will keep it 30 frames. Oh, you know, but I need to go. What I need to do is I need to go frame by frame. I need to do this in Premiere because I need to be able to just arrow over frame by frame to make sure that the individual frames are not doubling. So I don't think this will work because I don't. Yeah, and I also need like the frame per second output from Premiere. All right, so I'm gonna do that on my end. I'm gonna figure that out on my end, and I'll get back to you guys because I'm doing this edit over on the laptop. So yeah, I will figure that out. Reset speed. There we go. All right, so we've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's pull each one of these up real quick. We'll pick a frame where it's what the hell is going on here? We'll pick a frame where it's pointing towards like roughly the same spot, and we'll take a screenshot. So turn this down a little bit. Yeah, see, the problem is with analog video transmission, the problem is like one frame will look terrible and then the next frame will look fine. You know what I'm saying? Like some frames look great, some frames look like total ass. So you like almost have to do it based on video, which is hard to do because you can't just back-to-back video. All right, but let's at least try it. So I'm gonna F4. I'm gonna take a screen capture. This is one of the better looking frames, and it's so like 45-degree angle pointed towards the back wall. All right, so now we're gonna go to the next one. Yep. All right, cool. Full screen it. And now we're going to try to find a frame looking at that back wall again from roughly like the middle. Yeah, that was it. That was the one. Right up here. I just want to try to pick a frame that doesn't look like ass. There's a lot of motion blur. Okay, I think that's maybe a good frame. All right. Grab this one. And next up. So I'm just basically looking for a frame where it's in that front corner. That would have probably worked. Let's let it keep going. All right, it's coming around. Nope. Come on now. Like on one hand, I kind of want to pick frames with motion blur to see how each camera deals with the motion blur, because a lot of like a lot of this filming is moving quick, and it's gonna have motion blur in it. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm going to pick a frame from this little run here. There we go. Let's take that one. Okay. All right, got that one. Number 4. So now we're into a PAL camera. Which PAL camera is this? Okay, this is the Pico Razor. go. Here we go. Okay. Oh, wow, this camera is noisy as hell. Okay. You can definitely tell the difference. It is getting darker, though. I wish I'd done this a little bit earlier in the evening. I mean, there is no questioning how noisy this camera is, though. Okay, we're gonna go with that. And last one coming up here. What the fuck? Oh my god, come on now. There we go. All right, last one. Jesus. Okay, so there is a significant difference between these cameras. For sure. And we're about to really kind of figure it out in a minute here. Wait a second. This is no longer, this is now back to the original. Oh, farts. 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay, I missed this. I missed this first one. All right, so this needs to be the first of the screenshots. I need to keep these in order so that I know which camera is which. All right, cool. So... Oh, okay. Probably got a good angle coming around here. Yeah. All right, let's see. Pointed towards the back of the room. Amazing. Maybe there's one here. There it was. But that's not a good frame. That's a frame with a bunch of garbage on it. There it is. That's what I wanted. Okay, so now this is the first cam. So that's the first screenshot. I need to organize that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That fifth one should show up right here. Come on. There it is. All right, so this is actually the first. Fuck you. There we go. Okay, so Newbie Drone BI. All right, help me out, friends. Newbie Drone BI is what's on screen right now. I gotta put these in order. It was the Newbie Drone BI, then it was that, then it was this, then it was this. Okay. Newbie Drone BI. And then OG Runcam Nano 3 with the old lens. And then Caddx Ant. And New School Runcam Nano 3. And then Foxeer Pico Razor. New School Runcam Nano 3. Caddx Ant. Old School Runcam Nano 3. Newbie Drone BI. So the Newbie Drone BI is significantly darker. That could be because it's got more of this bright ass window in the frame. But in terms of detail, it's pretty muddy. But I mean, the motion blur is, the motion blur really makes this difficult. BI, Old School Runcam Nano 3, Caddx Ant. BI, Caddx Ant. BI, Caddx Ant. This is really difficult. I don't think I can do this testing like this. I think this has to just be a static test. Because like I could be looking at a frame with a ton of motion blur. So here's all four again. BI, old school Runcam Nano 3, Caddx Light, new Runcam Nano 3, and then Pico Razor. And it's also much brighter out. And what we can say for sure is they all look terrible. That's for sure. They're definitely different, but I really don't know. I really don't know if there's any actual difference. I mean, this one has drastically more vertical field of view, though. Look at the difference in vertical field of view between PAL and NTSC. Interesting. And I gotta be honest, I really like that the Runcam Nanos, the Runcam Nano 3s are flat, are more flat with less contrast, because I can then push that contrast in. You know, like this BI that's going like really dark there, like the blacks are really black, and then this is the Pico Razor. There's like no info in these shadows. These shadows are gone. There's nothing there. Whereas like there's something here in this one, and then there's something here in this guy, and there's something in there, and there's some information in these shadows. So yeah. I didn't learn anything from that, to be honest. They all look bad. I need to just point them at... one of you beautiful bastards sent me one of these. So I just need to put all 5 of them next to each other. We'll do that on a live stream, maybe Sunday. We'll just put all 5 of them up, point them at this, take screenshots of it, and then we've got some like actual stuff, and then we can use the back to check their fisheye. Although I don't really care so much about the fisheye, to be honest. I'm more just looking for detail. I want whichever camera is going to give the most detail, because that's the thing that's lacking the most in analog, right? Is like it's so low resolution that it's just muddy. So whichever one has the best detail without getting like super noisy, I think is going to be the winner. And what I'll do is I'll do that test in this. I'll set the lights up in this room to have like roughly the same amount of light as in that place, which is like kind of dark. And that'll be the most fair way of doing it. Metalderton says, was it able... and we got that. Face Gator says, what's up? Metalderton says, for an FPV feed, you want to trade some noisiness for more detail, it seems to me. Yeah, that's the trade-off, right? We want detail, but not at the cost of a ton of noise. Freelojo says, I put Ant Spec on Discord. General nonsense. Ant Spec. Oh, the specs on the Ant. Very cool. Does it say... Does it give a frame rate? I mean, we might be able to pick the best camera by the specs. Look at like the low light sensitivity, the electronic shutter. Like, so the Ant, for example, the PAL version, the shutter speed is variable from 1/50th of a second to 100,000th of a second. Jesus. And then the NTSC version, the electronic shutter is 1/60th of a second to 1/100,000th of a second. And that right there, the shutter, that might tell us about 60 frames versus 50 frames. That's interesting. And then I think both of these images are the same. Yeah. Denzel Trouble says you need to set up one of those old school film test shots, do a still with each, color contrast, something spinning for motion. GCFPV says I was just thinking if you want a set of brand new woke snail goggles, you can have mine for a few Ciotti juicy tuned whoops. Juicy, message me. You mean like, I'm assuming that you mean like to borrow to play around with the whoops. Message me for sure. That would be dope. Because I might not like them. I might not end up going that direction. The 2X Whiskey says HD0 goggles have a de-interlacer for analog video. Think Sony CRT Trinitron TV de-interlacers are good. De-interlacers are indeed good. That's pretty cool. So that would mean, God, I'm exhausted. That would mean that the HD0 goggles are better than. I think I'm pretty sure that the PowerPlay does not have a de-interlacer. But man, that is an expensive way of getting. I have no interest in HD0, so that would be a very expensive way of getting slightly better DVR. All right, guys, I need to get some food. I'm starving, and that's what's making me yawn nonstop. Thanks for hanging. You guys are the goddamn best. Go get you some bot grinders. Sorry, bot, for bleeding 40 effing minutes into your time slot. I lost track of time here. I got some editing to do, friends. You should see a very cool edit coming soon. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com to support your boy on his crazy FPV adventure. I need help from every single one of you. Do something. Click thumbs up. Leave a comment. Do something, and I can keep going with this. And if you have a couple extra bucks, it's only 10 cents a day to join my Patreon. It looks like the streak might be broken. There might not be a new patron tonight. If you have 10 extra cents a day, hop over to CiottiFPV.com, click the Patreon button. Join the Patreon. There's a lot of benefits. You're going to love my nuts. Be good. I love you. Here comes some... I didn't play the last little chunk of flying footage, so I'll play that for my little outro here with some copyright-free music. Enjoy, friends. Have a wonderful Saturday and rest of your Friday night. I wish you all the best things in the world. It's called Night Stalker by Wave Saver. Get you some.